Hello everyone, this is Ghanem Sabih with the Process Engineering Tips channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5Whys, which is a lean tool. It is a very effective tool for conducting root cause analysis. So we'll be talking about an example from the chemical industry. To do an example of 5Why, I created a template using PowerPoint. You could use any tool you want. You could do it on paper. It's a really simple method. The method basically, you have your main issue, right? And then you ask yourself, why did this happen, right? And then the answer of that question became a question again. Why did that happen? And so on and so on until you get to the main or more granular type of reason behind that issue that you have. And you should do that in some sort of workshop with stakeholders. Like if you have a safety incident, do it with the ESH manager, with some operators. If you have like maybe a process or a troubleshooting in the production area, and then you get also the operator, you get technical manager, maybe a process engineer, and so on. Now for this simple example, we have a batch that we produce in a chemical plant, and our question, or the question we got from corporate, is that why the contribution margin of that batch is low. And for those who doesn't know what is a contribution margin, is basically your product sale minus whatever fixed costs and variable costs associated to that product or that batch in this case. So, and then let's say, we checked the fixed cost and variable cost and we saw that the fixed cost is high. So we could say, okay, the fixed cost is high. Now, that answer here become the question for the next level, right? Said, okay, why is the fixed cost high? Okay, then you answer, okay, your fixed cost could be, your energy, your labor, and things like this. And let's say, in a group you evaluate and you saw that the waste cost is high, because waste is part of the fixed cost. And you could say the waste or waste disposal is high. Then you ask the question, okay, why the waste disposal is high? Then you discuss with the stakeholders and you realize that actually that waste or the effluent, of that batch, because the batch, you produce the batch and say you clean that batch, and that effluent, it cannot be sent to, a regular treatment facility or like a city treatment facility. It's a hazardous and you have to dispose it. And so then you could say, disposal of hazardous waste offsite. And remember, when you have hazardous waste, then the price or the cost to dispose a waste like this would be exponential compared to sending it to a regular, treatment facility. And then that there will be something that you might bury or you might incinerate or things like this, and then they charge you like almost 10 times or even more than compared to a regular wastewater effluent, and don't forget that you also pay for the freight cost, the trucks that take that effluent and take it to the destination where it's going to be treated or disposed. Then that you pay also for that could be depend on the geographical location of where you are. You could pay also thousands per truck, right? And then you you could ask your question, okay, why is it hazardous? Why the effluent is hazardous? And then you could say, okay, because the TOC level is high, okay? Because to send an effluent to a waste treatment facility, you need to be below a certain TOC. Now, if you are above that, then that treatment facility cannot handle it. Then you'll have to dispose it as a hazardous waste, okay? Then here you kind of done. You kind of already knew your issue, and but you could even go further. You could say, okay, why the TOC level is high? Then you could say, okay, because the water volume for the clean is low. Then with that, you could or it could be multiple reasons. Could be the product is thick, right? So when you dispose or when you finish the batch, and there will be a lot of products kind of left on the agitator, on the walls, on the baffles of the reactor, and that's why you have a lot of organic left over, right? But then you kind of got the essence of the issue, or the reason, the main reason behind the issue, which is the product being, or the batch being low margin. And then now you try to brainstorm with the stakeholders on what to do. How do we get that TOC level down, right? And that's where you could do, or you could brainstorm many ideas. Things like, okay, instead of cleaning every batch, let me operate in a campaign, or maybe I make a product that's compatible with that product that I produced, like a different product that's compatible, and then in this case you don't have to clean. Or maybe, okay, I'm using, let's say, 5,000 gallon volume to clean the reactor. Maybe I could use 10,000 gallon. Then you spend a little bit on water, but then your TOC level could be lower, right? And then would be acceptable to send it to a treatment facility. Or it could be something like, okay, instead of doing a clean, I'm going to do a flush first, or not a flush, like a rinse, collect that in a toad and use it for the next same product batch. And in this case, you could even recover some organic, improve in yield. And then, so whenever you do the clean, after that, you have less organic to capture, right? So there could be many ways to solve, but you already you found the reason behind the issue that you have. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. And if you have any question, you could email me. My email is in the bio. Thanks a lot for watching.